So today we're going to create a 3D triangle logo in Adobe Illustrator. This tutorial is pretty simple, but if you guys have any issues or problems, let me know in the comments below. And remember, you can always download the file for this illustration in the description below. Let's go. So the goal of this first part of the tutorial is to create this shape over here. And the way we're going to create it is by using triangles, placing them all together, then using the shape builder tool to then bring out this shape from all the different triangles that we're going to join together. So this is how we're going to do it. The first thing you're going to do is select your polygon tool and just click it anywhere on the board, and where they ask you sides, make sure it's set on 3. This will allow us to create our triangle. Once we have our triangle, we can then enlarge it a little bit, and let's align it to the middle. So guys, watch carefully. What I'm going to do now is drop the stroke to 0.01 points, right? So I'm doing this so the stroke of our shape can be very thin, so we can see clearly what we're trying to do. So the next thing we're going to do is hit on Alt and drag the second shape down straight to the middle. So guys, I hope you guys can see clearly. I know it's almost as if it's invisible, but bear with me now. So the next thing we're going to do now is press on Alt again and drag a third shape to the left. We want it to be right on this corner, right here. Perfect. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Perfect. So I'm just going to select on these two to make sure that it's well aligned in the middle. Now what we're going to do, we're going to now go to View, Rulers down here, and we're going to click on Show Rulers. This will allow us to create guidelines which we're going to need as much as possible in this tutorial. We're going to drag the first one down here, let it align right in the middle of these triangles. Perfect. So that's our first guideline. Then the second one will be right in the middle over here. So once we have that, we're going to create the other triangles that are going to help us create this perfect shape over here. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to click on this, hit on Alt, and drag one triangle right on the top here. We want it to align in this exact position. Perfect. And we're going to drag another one down here, which is going to align perfectly here. And then I promise you guys, this is the last one, the last triangle. We're going to press Alt again and bring one triangle down here. So we want it to align perfectly in this angle. Zoom in to make sure that everything is well aligned. And once we're done with that, we're going to then select our line tool and create a line right on top here. Then you're going to click on that same line, press on Alt, and drag it down to this middle part down here. So I want this line to be longer. And guys, once we have that, we can then select everything. But first, before we do that, let's get rid of these guidelines over here. We don't need them anymore. You can just click on them and press Ctrl X and they will all disappear. So we're going to select all this, go to our shape builder tool and start working our magic. So this side over here, this little arrow here, we're going to create that by selecting this arrow over here. Simple. Now for the side, we're going to select this. And for this down part here, we're just going to simply create it by selecting this. And then for this inner part, we're going to create that by selecting this. Once we have our shape, we don't need all these triangles anymore. So we're going to hit on Alt and start deleting all of them. Just draw a line on them and they will disappear. far away in the land of the unknown. Hold on Shift and carefully select each part, and we're going to drag it down, and there will be leftover parts here. We're going to delete them. So what we're going to do now is go to this negative anchor tool and remove any anchors that are unnecessary for this tutorial. And at this point, we can then group everything and increase our stroke. Finally, I'm sure you guys were waiting for this part. We finally increase our stroke to see what we created. So this is our creation right here. You see there will always be some of these anchor tools. They never lack in such a situation. So when you see them, just press Ctrl X and they will disappear in the land of the unknown. It's like there's a lot, huh? Just going to zoom in and remove that. Perfect. I think we can get rid of this now. We won't be needing him anymore. So now that we have this, what we're going to do now, select it, go to Objects, go to Edit, copy and paste in place. And once we paste in place, we're going to simply rotate our shape, and then we're going to bring it down over here. And then we're going to do the same thing again. Click, edit, copy and paste in place. And then we're going to rotate it again. Then we're going to drag it down. So then at this point, try as much as possible to make sure everything is perfectly aligned. And perfect, we have our 3D shape. Now it's time to add in some color. So I want to go and get my colors, and these are the colors that we're going to use for this tutorial. So what we want to do now is basically degroup everything and group everything, sorry. Once we have our shadows, we can then add in our light reflectors. And once we have that, we can then now add in our base color. So I'm sure you guys can see already there's a problem right here. This part of the triangle is supposed to be behind this path. So how we're going to do that is by selecting it, going to our layers and sending it right to the back. You could also have just right-clicked it and arranged it to be sent right to the back. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our 3D triangle logo.